Welcome, everybody, to the third session of the 2024 edition of This is Film Heritage and Practice. My name is Randy Cicchini. I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I've also been researching the use of artificial intelligence in audiovisual archives, so I'm delighted to be moderating today. Some information about This is Film. It's a collaboration that kicked off in 2015 between the iFilm Museum, University of Amsterdam, and the Amsterdam School for Cultural Analysis. We're excited to have 26 students joining us for the course this year in This is Film, and some students will be assisting in introducing our guests today and posing questions throughout the series. The sessions are recorded, and they'll be made available online, just like in past editions. You can always find the recordings of previous sessions on the YouTube channel. This year's focus of the course is This is Film is presenting audiovisual collections, experiments, and explorations, which aligns with the International Conference happening later this year. With more than 40 speakers from around the world, the conference will delve into the exploration and experimentation of audiovisual collection presentation. It will spotlight emerging formats that extend beyond the confines of traditional film theaters and curatorial frameworks, fostering novel avenues for public engagement and accessibility. This encompasses immersive, participatory, and multi-screen formats, as well as alternative presentation models, leveraging emerging technologies or inventive low-tech and DIY approaches. The 9th International Conference will take place from May 26th through May 29th, and the program and registration will be online soon. Today, we'll talk with Bregtje van der Haak, filmmaker and director of the museum, of the iFilm Museum, Marije Meerman, filmmaker, Koos van de Merbel, producer at VPRO, and William de Bruijn, researcher and program maker at VPRO, to discuss the VPRO Archive of the Future and the possibilities and downsides of using AI technology for audiovisual archives. The Archive of the Future is an online archive that uses artificial intelligence to make over 500 episodes of the international VPRO documentary series Tegenlicht, or Backlight in English, available and searchable in new ways. The session will be followed by a screening. Well, first we'll have a question and answer and discussion after we hear from some of our participants. And then we'll have a screening of the documentary, The Price of AI by Marije Meerman. So now I'd like to introduce the students who are here from This is Film. It's Michael Janovitsky, Shirei Peng, Judith van Staal-Dounen, and Chen Chong Wu. And on behalf of the group, I would like to ask Judith to introduce our next guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. So as Randy said, I'm introducing the guests. We try to keep it short, but since they've all done so much, that did not really succeed. Starting with Bregtje. Bregtje is a journalist and documentary filmmaker renowned for her innovative approach to collaborative new media, crossovers, and transmedia storytelling. Born in the Netherlands, Bregtje developed a passion and a specific approach for exploration of global technological, political, and social-cultural issues through television and filmmaking, which led her to direct numerous award-winning international documentaries. As project director and editor-in-chief for the VPRO, Bregtje initiated Creative Commons distribution of public television programming and developed many cooperative media projects, including Metropolis TV, a network of local journalism covering news from their home locations, Urban Century, a collaboration with International Architecture Biennale Rotterdam, the Aftermath Project, a collaborative social and cultural initiative aiming to analyze the world economic crisis on 2008, and White Spots, a documentary and app with artist-designer Richard Vijgen, which takes audiences on a surprising journey away from the familiar networked world to explore places without internet or mobile reception. Bregtje is recognized for her documentary work. Her films are characterized by their in-depth research, compelling storytelling, and visually striking cinematography. Some of her notable documentaries include Digital Amnesia, exploring the precarious nature of digital memory against time to preserve our collective past amidst the fleeting lifespan of technology. Satellite Queens, which examines the impact of satellite television on women in the Middle East, and Lagos/Koolhaas, an intimate exploration of the architect Rem Koolhaas's perspective on Lagos, Nigeria, as a dynamic urban landscape shaped by intense population growth, capturing the city's flexibility, creativity, and constant improvisation over 2 years. The film was developed into the double-screen installation Lagos Wide and Close, which combines 3 audio perspectives with a close and wide video perspectives in an interactive manner. Complementary to her filmmaking and curational work, Van der Haak has been actively involved in initiatives aimed at advancing and collaborative transmedia storytelling, archival practices, and open access. She served as a board member of the Open Future Foundation, a think tank dedicated to fostering innovative commons-based strategies that harness the full societal potential of shared data, knowledge, and culture. And since April, she is the director of iFilm Museum, our venue for today's eagerly anticipated discussion. Moving on to Marije Meerman. Marije Meerman is a documentary filmmaker, formerly a commissioning editor for the VPRO Backlight, and currently serving as a commissioning editor for the documentary department of the VPRO. Marije is known for her insightful storytelling and commitment to exploring complex social issues. With a background in journalism and film, she has established herself as a leading voice in the Dutch documentary scene. Throughout her career, Marije has demonstrated a commitment to exploring narratives that challenge conventions and ignite meaningful conversations. As a filmmaker and commissioning editor for the VPRO, she has been the forefront of shaping Dutch documentary filmmaking. Her portfolio is characterized by impactful documentaries that delve into the multifaceted social, political, and cultural issues, reflecting her dedication to amplifying diverse voices and perspectives. Marije's role extends beyond mere editorial oversight. She actively nurtures emerging filmmakers, providing vital support and resources to bring compelling storytelling projects to life. Her influence is evident in the vibrant landscape of documentary filmmaking, where she continues to champion innovative narratives that resonate with audiences worldwide. Marije's body of work encompasses a wide range of topics, from politics to finance and to cultural and to technology. Some of her notable projects include The Wall Street Code, which is a documentary exploring the hidden world of the high-frequency trading and its impact on global financial markets, shedding light on the complexities of modern finance. I Wanna Be Boss, which won a Golden Calf in 2009, follows the intense journey of ambitious Chinese students as they strive to fulfill the high expectations of their parents and society, fiercely competing for coveted spots in Beijing elite universities. This narrative embodies the aspirations of China's new middle class and reflects the demands of global economy. And most recently, Planet Finance, an international documentary series on the interconnected world of global financial transactions. In addition to her contributions as a filmmaker and editor, Marije has actively engaged in initiatives promoting financial and media literacy. Notably, her documentary Money and Speed, Inside the Black Box, produced in collaboration with design studio Cadillac Tree, offers a rare peek into the inner workings of rapidly evolving financial markets. Furthermore, her involvement in the Planet Finance series, in collaboration with designer Femke Heddegrave and animation studio Motoko, provides a captivating exploration of the world's high finance, navigating through a diverse array of traders, short sellers, and currency experts, in a landscape that is often unpredictable and challenging, yet promises potentially significant rewards. Through her collaborations with international partners and advocacy organizations, Marije has played a pivotal role in amplifying marginalized voices and perspectives within the media landscape. Today, as we gather here at the iFilm Museum, in anticipation of a fascinating discussion, we also look forward to the screening of her film, The Price of AI, which offers a valuable insight into the topic at hand. Then we move on to Koos van der Merbel. Koos van der Merbel is a producer who has left an indelible mark on Dutch television and film over several years, particularly through his influential tenure at the Dutch public broadcaster VPRO, renowned for its international outlook and pioneering cultural programming. With a background in media and production and cultural studies, Koos brings a unique blend of creative vision and strategic expertise to his work, spanning film, television, and digital media. Collaborating with Marije Meerman, some of his... Nope, sorry for that. There we are. In his role at VPRO, Koos has overseen the development and production of a diverse array of television programs, documentaries, and cultural projects. His collaborative spirit and keen eye for talent have resulted in groundbreaking content that resonates with audiences, earning him a reputation and trusted collaborator among the industry peers. Currently, Van der Merbel is part of the department responsible for travel series at VPRO Television, overseeing projects such as Onze Man bij de Taliban, Langs de Nieuwe Zijderoute, and Dr. Ruben. Notable products include In Europa de geschiedenis op heterdaad betrapt, a documentary series based on Geert Mak's book Great Expectations, which explores the pivotal events since 1999, revealing the societal shifts amidst the global turmoil, illustrating the shift from optimism to fear and confusion in the wake of the Twin Towers attack, the global financial crisis, rising refugee flows, and strained relations with Russia. Additionally, the Wilde Ruimte, the Wild Space, delves into the future of space exploration, probing humanity's potential for space colonization and celestial settlements, guided by science journalist Anna Grimbergen. Koos van der Merbel has also played a pivotal role in expanding VPRO's digital presence, pioneering and innovative online platforms and interactive storytelling experiences. Moreover, he actively fosters cultural exchange and collaboration between Dutch and international filmmakers, facilitating dialogue and creativity on a global scale through strategic partnerships with organizations like the European Broadcasting Union and the International Documentary Film Festival of Amsterdam. Then last but not least, William de Bruijn. William de Bruijn is a senior researcher and occasional program director at the VPRO, known for his expertise in cultural studies and media analysis. Combining academic rigor with journalistic integrity, he played a pivotal role in shaping Dutch public broadcasting, delving into the intersection of media, culture, and society. De Bruijn's research interests are diverse, covering topics ranging from popular culture and media globalization to cultural identity and representation. His thorough approach to archival research has shed light on pivotal moments in Dutch media history, enriching our understanding of the cultural landscape. Should have put a staple in it. Here we are. Collaborating with Marije Meerman, some of his notable projects include the Tax-Free Tour, an economic thriller exploring tax havens and global tax avoidance, questioning the systemic risks of this practice and global capitalism, and The Selling of a War, which dissects the communication strategies used by the United States to justify the Iraq War. These documentaries analyze the manipulation of media and propaganda, offering insights to the complex societal issues. Additionally, De Bruijn has conducted extensive research on the evolving media landscape in the Netherlands, examining the impact of digital technologies, globalization, and demographic changes on audience behavior and context consumption patterns. He also participated in a collaborative transmedia project called Security for Sale, working alongside an international team of journalists to investigate European security policy. Beyond research, De Bruijn has contributed to initiatives aimed at preserving and promoting cultural heritage, collaborating with archival institutions and cultural organizations. He also worked to digitize and catalog audiovisual materials, ensuring their accessibility for the future. And so, rounding up this long, extensive introduction to our guests, I would like to welcome them all to, or not all, some of them. I would like to welcome Bregtje to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Judith. I will keep it very short because you said so many things already. I just want to say it's a warm welcome to everyone. It's a very special day for me, very special moment, because it's been 1 year since I work here at the iFilm Museum, and this is today I can host, we can host my former colleagues from VPRO Television, and I just wanted to say a few words why we are showing this archive now, and why VPRO Tegenlicht is word archiving. First of all, I was with Giovanna in Lausanne when there was a presentation about this project, and I realized, oh my God, I never really talked about it at I, and there really is a relationship with what we are doing here. So then I want to thank the This Is Film series for inviting us to show it, because I think it's true. It's a very good fit. It makes me very happy also that these two worlds come together in a kind of logical way. So just about, for those who don't know, probably many of you, what is VPRO Tegenlicht, VPRO Backlight? It's been a very special kind of TV series, I think, because it's special for a few reasons. It's a collective of filmmakers, but also researchers, producers, working together, trying to document and report and tell stories about long-term changes. And it's not a current affairs program, but it's a future affairs program, which opens the room and the floor to speculation, and which also opens the floor to all kinds of formats and different ways of showing stories and showing the things that are happening in the real world, but are kind of forecasting a shadow into the future. So this, I think, was a very unusual kind of group of people that were allowed for 20 years since 9/11. That's when we sort of started. 2002 was the first episode. To use the medium of television, which is usually quite formatted and limited and a lot of talking heads, in new and creative and all kinds of different ways. And not always successful, but experimental and open to trial. And this was, I think, why it was for all of us, because it was a kind of life-work mixture, because you're living in the time you're in. We all are. You try to make sense of it. You can't. So you meet on Monday morning. You discuss it. You have questions. You have experiences. You throw them on the table. And then you try to decide what's worthwhile telling and going and traveling. And I think another reason why it was special, and I hope it will remain, it has and still has a truly global outlook. It's not about the Netherlands, it's about each individual in the world, in this world today. So I think that's special. So when this collective and program series had reached age 20, which was in 2022, we wanted to do a special birthday celebration for our viewers and also for the program itself, and also trying to highlight a little bit why we thought this was worthwhile, because the short term was kind of gaining ground. And I think all of this project, the 20-year project of Tegenlicht, was really a project against short-termism. It was a project for the future, about the future, but by looking back. So we thought the archiving process and the archiving practice was kind of part of our daily routine, because we could only imagine and speculate about the future if we looked what was 10 years back, 20 years back. So in the collective, we're not only filmmakers and journalists, but also historians, like William, which has the habit of looking back, and not 10 years, but 20 years or 50 years, or sometimes 200 years. So we thought, how can we celebrate the 20th birthday? Maybe the best way to make an archive for the future. And I'm very happy that we succeeded. It turned out to be much more complicated and much more work than we ever imagined. So this is something I think we recognize at I, that every good idea turns out to be a lot of work. But we did it. We got a lot of support and collaborators, partners. And I think we made a book as well, this book. And the book is the QR code to the online archive. William and Koos will show you the online archive. It's also an archive of the future because it uses AI, really the latest state-of-the-art technology in speech, image, and text recognition. and it allows you to search inside the video in scenes and particular shots. So it's like an editing timeline in which you can search. So it's really quite new, and that's why I think Johan Omer showed it in Lausanne. And I'm very happy, and I want to thank you for your attention already and for the opportunity to show it here at I. So please show us how it works. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Koos. I'm William.
Hello.
And
thank you for
your opening.
Yeah, thank you for having us here, and please allow us to offer you a look at the Archive of the Future that Bregtje introduced. Can everybody hear me? Closer to the microphone. Okay, I'll try. So I'm Koos. This is William. We're also known as the Men in Black, as you can see, and as Bregtje just explained, Tegenlicht is a documentary series with, as it stands now, monthly TV episodes of 50 minutes. And in this 50 minutes, we present the future affairs in distinct of current affairs. So, as Bregtje already said, to celebrate our 20th anniversary, we built this archive as an exploration of the possibilities of a visual and interactive archive with AI elements.
And as usual, Bregtje was, of course, too modest because it was her idea. When we came up to our 20th anniversary of the series, she said, let's build an archive that's timely, that's especially visual, because we are in the visual media. So if we build an archive, let's not make it into something where you get a long list of hits and you study them. No, let's make something that you can see right away and where you go into the image. We'll show you in a minute. But how do you do that? Because if you want to find something in a big video file, as Bregtje said, we made 532 episodes. Each episode is 45 minutes. Who can do the math? 532 times 45 is 24,000 minutes divided by 660. That's 400 hours of video material. And if you take a working day of 8 hours, you could watch Backlight for 3 months, right? What a holiday, Koos.
Yeah. So how to unlock 400 hours of video? Well, just to show you how we used to do it, this was the website that's the old way, so to say, to access the archive of Tegenlicht to watch an episode.
8th of September 2002.
Yeah. So this was our first episode back then, and before we had our archive of the future, it was quite difficult and static to look for an episode. You could look up the title, maybe find some keywords via Google, via our site, and it was just you can play the episode or read through the text. So we wanted to make our archive way more visual, both for the general public, but also for ourselves, with the possibility not only to search for episodes themselves, but also to search within episodes. So we had to make a monster of a data set containing all the names and data and tags of many episodes, so all the speakers, all the makers, all the locations we went to, keywords of what did we film. And it took us over a year and a half. And when we had that, we had to visualize and analyze everything. So being future affairs, we obviously wanted to incorporate some AI. So we used techniques like automated speech recognition, text analysis, named entity recognition to analyze everything that has ever been said in a Backlight episode and to distill important information from it. And for images, we used image recognition with a system that's called YOLO 9000, which, it works quite well here, seeing an adult person, health professional, but it's also sometimes fallible, recognizing trees as broccoli. So really the image recognition was really much more an experiment than a real integration that we know is, works for certain, like with the text. So YOLO 9000 can recognize 9,000 categories of objects, persons, nature, which he distilled down a bit. Yeah.
So let's look at the system. Maybe we can switch to live. Yeah. Together with data artist Richard Vijgen and UXer Werner Helmich, we came to this website, Archive of the Future. It's open for everybody, so it doesn't have a login. You can go to avdt.vpro.nl. Everyone can access it, try it at home. And we called it Archief van de Toekomst, Archive of the Future. It's of course a bit of a pun of, as Bregtje was saying, we make future affairs. So if you look back to what you make, you get the archive of the future, and you look back at how in the archive in the past you looked at the future, etc. So that's a bit of a pun. Here you see our 532 episodes in one view. Each thumbnail is an episode. On the left, you see 20 categories that we've made. If you hover over them, maybe Koos can hover over economy. It's in Dutch. Sorry for that. We're working on the international version. So if you go over the categories, you can see what we made on that timeline. We start at 2002 and it goes to 2024. So you can see what we did in a certain category. If you look at 2003, you see that we made 33 episodes in 1 year. And if you go to 2023, you see that we only make 10 episodes in a year. So that's the dying of linear TV for you. You see it getting less and less, but we do a lot on YouTube and other platforms. So it doesn't mean that our production is less than it was. It's one of the things that happens in this tool is that it allows me to go to retire, because I'm the last one who was here in 2002 in September. So I'm the last in the team of 24 that was there at the first episode. So they took off my skull and they digitized my memory, and that's what's in here. So Koos, what can AI do what I can't?
Yeah, so let's go into the system here and to see what it can do. So in the top here, this is where you enter the keywords. So maybe there's a lot of students here from the University of Amsterdam today. So let's try UvA, and then we see, we filmed with
the Smart University.
The Smart University. So if you want to know more about the episode, you can open the episode and then here you see what Bregtje just mentioned, the player, or the whole episode cut into a lot of little pieces. You can scroll through and also here search through. So in this block you can enter subjects, locations, speakers, crew on the top here, where you can find. So for example, we could also try Bregtje van der Haak, who made or was involved at least with a lot of episodes. Back in 2019, 2020, she was the editor-in-chief, so it's a lot of episodes, all the episodes, and then before that, she made a lot of episodes as well. So now let's open an episode and go through it, William.
Yeah, look at the Prijs van AI, the film that we will be watching. If you go to the player, you see all the subjects, and you see the locations, you see the speakers down there. So that's all the data that we put into the system. As Koos was saying, in the search bar, you can search for speech and you can search for image. Let's try something like prompts. Prompts are very important, of course, in AI.
So as you see,
prompts
works quite quickly.
With an S, prompts. Then you get one.
Yeah.
Let's look at the clip that he suggests.
So these are, for example, the prompts that I kept a record of. African, Asian, the A word, anti, skinny, small, terrorist, upskirt, white power, white supremacy, woman, the F word, another F word.
So
yeah, a lot of words I can't say out loud.
Pretty disconcerting what Abeba Birhane says there, which we will discuss and see as well in the episode that we will show in a bit. So if we go to the image here, William.
Yeah. It's also disconcerting because 30 seconds later she says that the tagging is now done by computers. So if you think that it's has to be detoxified, well, computers do it by themselves now. So who's detoxifying the material?
Just to make clear that for the Archive of the Future, we did all the tagging ourselves. So it uses AI to distill the information, but it's
it was humanly done. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we go to the ticking the box build, does it say
Image.
the disclaimer?
Yeah, if you go here,
Yeah.
then you go to the disclaimer.
Yeah, because we want to highlight the fact that if you do image recognition, that it's still in its infantile stages, at least in our system, and it's very fallible. So we wanted to say we can show that because in the same episode that Marije made, there is a paraplu. So if you nou, je moet het Nederlands.
Oh, yeah.
If you type in paraplu, search for the paraplu.
We are kind of
Where's the umbrella?
of them. And basically here we are seeing one
There
part
it
of this
In the
process. We are
back, you
seeing
see a
how
beach
this
umbrella. So, well, for us, this is it demonstrates that the system is well, maybe not infallible. And as Koos explained, the software behind this is called YOLO 9000, and YOLO is short for you only look once, and that's maybe the problem.
Yeah.
Questions or suggestions
Yeah,
or
maybe you
things
have
we love have to type in.
You have some suggestions that we can type into the system to see what works or what doesn't work, or I can just show a few keywords maybe. Anyone? Well, you know, one thing maybe to display as well that is nice that you can only go to an episode and then search within that episode. You can also search for all the in all the images of the whole 20 plus year archive now. For example, if I look up windmill, which is it's something that YOLO 9000 is quite good at to recognize. I can just see there was a windmill, well, recognized at least in these episodes. So if I open it up, it should show me a windmill straight away. There we are.
It does.
So for some things it works quite well, but then again, for example, the broccoli example that we just gave. If I can try that. Oh, wait, it's the double.
Maybe we can also use one of the student questions. One of the student questions we got was, did something amaze you in the system? Or did you find out things that you might not remember anymore?
Vallende gemalen en sluizen.
So here's the broccoli again. Lots of broccoli in tegenlicht.
Maar zonder.
One of the episodes we made was about Amazon. Can you type in Amazon?
Yeah, just general.
And we didn't mention yet that if the thumbnails are bigger, then there's more of Amazon in the broadcast than in the other ones. But when we made the Amazon documentary, it was co-produced. We kind of remembered that we once interviewed Jeff Bezos. Can you go into Amazon? Into the
which one?
The big one, the high one, yeah. That one. Yeah. Can you start up the how we started the film?
Can you first introduce yourself and tell us where we are now?
Yeah, I'm Jeff Bezos, and I'm the founder. Okay.
So someone remembered that colleagues of ours interviewed Jeff Bezos in 98 when he was just starting Amazon. He was sitting in between all these big bookcase, and he had to introduce himself, but the sound wasn't working too good. So these are the little gems that you find in your own archive when you start typing in things that you could have forgot. I didn't forget, but if I'm away and you're away and everyone's away and Koos doesn't remember that we once did Jeff Bezos, my dream would be that I have an AI assistant who tells me everything. That's in the archive when I start doing a new subject.
Yeah. So this is the most, chronological overview of the archive. So here you see episodes from old to new, but another way is to see them by subject. So then you can see, well, we didn't do that much episodes about education, and a lot about geopolitics, I think, or
if you're into food, you go into the green zone, for instance. Yeah.
no, where is it? Yeah, every episode had one main subject. So that was, we had, I think, hours and hours of discussion sometimes about what category it should go into.
What will be the main
So,
color of
yeah,
this episode? Yeah.
to make it visually, we had to do some selecting.
Yeah, but the system says it has to have one color when you put it in the system. But if you go into player, you see that it has several colors. But yeah, you have to rubricate it some way. So,
Are there more questions? I saw a few hands. Yeah.
a bit.
That's a good point.
Please define fake. Yeah, what do you mean by fake? Babette, right? Yeah.
It could be that afterwards you would discover that something that you documented years before was actually not true, or was, has a no meaning in the meantime.
Yeah, that goes for everything a politician has said in Backlight, basically. It's a good question, because this as a historian, I also think you make a snapshot of the time when you make a film. You cannot, we are future affairs, so we try to look ahead and to look back. But you reflect on what's happening, or how you look at the situation at that moment. But as Bregtje was saying, we're doing long lines. So if we make transitions from oil and gas to renewable energy, that's like a long story that you're telling, and you can make several episodes about that. And well, maybe the situation changes, but I don't think it's a problem that we said things in 2000. Well, hydrogen is a good example.
Right.
We made a hydrogen film in 2003, Rob van Atem, and I have spent 10 years with people asking me, what's keeping this hydrogen revolution that you announced in 2003? Where is it? And now it's happening 20 years later. So sometimes we are a bit too far ahead in time. More questions?
Question in the back over there.
What I didn't understand was the clip from Bezos. Is it before the archive?
Yeah, I was smuggling a bit, because it was from 89. But it was reused in one of the episodes. So that's also the advantage of the system, because we have a lot of young colleagues who make online videos, who make summaries of what we have made, and they constantly go back and recycle material that we have used. And I think this tool helps them a lot in reusing footage that was very relevant to what they are doing.
So this clip wasn't from the program.
No, it was a bit earlier.
Yeah. So it was integrated. But so maybe to give an example that amazed me, because I joined the Tegenlicht team, I think back in 2016 or 17. So I'd seen Tegenlicht before, but when 2002 I was 6 or 7 years old, so not back then. I haven't had all the history of Backlight in my mind, just like William did. So, for example, Backlight filmed with Elon Musk all the way back in 2008, which we would have known because William might have said it, or some other colleagues might have said it, that, when Tesla's in the news or he does something stupid. But now with the archive, it's a really nice way for us, also for the newer colleagues who don't have the whole history in their head, to be able to find some hidden pearls in the archive.
Because in that shot or in that broadcast, you see Elon Musk working on the Tesla, and he invites our guys to step into the Tesla.
I have a short other question, if I may.
Of course, go ahead.
Is it not possible to use English in the search?
No, that's
only Dutch.
For now, only Dutch. It is, in our minds, but of course we get paid by the Dutch taxpayer, and we are a Dutch broadcaster, and everything we have is in Dutch. So to translate everything to English, we would also have to translate all the transcripts and the subtitles and everything to English, which would be very costly. So for now, it's only in Dutch, but maybe with AI or with if somebody has a nice fund somewhere that would help us with that would be a possibility. So it's really something we'd like, but we had to pick something to start with. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on now to a question and answer discussion. We can all stay up on the stage. I would like to invite the guests up to the stage. So we'll have about a half an hour now to continue the discussion, both of the series and also of the archive. And we'll have some questions from the students, and also we can have some more questions from the audience. So I wanted to just start with Bregtje and thinking about this idea of future affairs and thinking about the future, and wanted to ask you how you think this type of future-oriented mindset that you've been practicing while you've been working on this program has influenced your thinking as your new role as the director of the Film Museum, especially as we think about how filmmaking itself has changed, and continues to change.
Well, I think, if anything, working with all of them and many others for 25 years, 20 years on this Tegenlicht project, it made me more aware of these long-term trends. And I think if there's anything to say about it, is that many things have changed very fast in a very short time. It's not just a feeling of acceleration, there is actual acceleration of change. And in the first year as director of Film Museum, in Hollywood we had the strikes, of course, against AI, and out of fear for losing jobs. Okay, jobs are an important concern, but it's only this much of what will be affected by AI. So I think for moving image and visual image production, but also distribution and reception, it will be a major shift, a real paradigm shift, and we are already in it. It's not something in the future, we are like here, and it will be like this in like 5 or 6 or 7 years. So I think it's something that I love archives, so this is one of the reasons I'm here at and I think that one of the reasons that I could kind of let go of this VPRO family is that I thought, okay, maar if we are in this part and we are going here, it's so important to keep those archives and to keep connected to the materiality of the archives and to be able to understand where images are coming from, because that's the only way we can understand where images and image production is going. So I think there is a very direct connection for me between the two.
Thank you so much for that. I think, one could talk about that for a long time. Marije, I wanted to ask you, we'll be watching, after the conversation, your film, The Price of AI, which looks at the human and resources, human costs that go into making this technology that we often talk about as taking place in this kind of amorphous idea of the cloud. But I wanted to ask about your experience making documentaries on many different topics. So you play many different roles and look at many different topics as we've seen up here. So can you talk about what it's like to go so deeply into really complex topics for a short period of time, and then move on to the next thing, and maybe what you appreciate about this, changing topics, changing roles, and frustrations, limitations.
Oh wow!
And
yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, it's sort of because this working as a collective, which Bregtje so eloquently explained to us, gives you sort of a privilege to enter into topics and to exit them again. And then with time going along, when you feel that a topic sort of comes back to the surface, sort of pops up in a different way, it comes up and down. So there, if you look at the episodes that I made for Backlight, there are a lot of threads that you can find. So finance is one of them. Big tech is another one. The one on finance started with the financial crisis in 2008, and then just finding an op-ed where the son of Freeman Dyson, George Dyson, was warning about the fact that there were quants working within finance that were writing the algorithms on which the financial markets were functioning. And it was something I never had heard of, the word quants. It was for me a completely new topic, and I was so it was an interest in a very urgent global crisis moment at that period in time. And then I got interested in these quants, and then in a way I chose for a more anthropological kind of method to then discover who are these people that are writing these algorithms that I never heard about before, and that even the CEOs of banks probably hardly know what these people are doing, which are lower paid than the guys taking the bigger risk working directly on the financial market. So, and then I got to through the quants, I got to the topic high frequency trading, and then finally to the series on Planet Finance, where I wanted to zoom out, not zoom in, but really zoom out and see how financial markets are a complex system and how all these different financial markets are connected to one another and in what way, and that there are many different financial markets, that it's just not one, which for me, with not a background in economy or finance, was always my presumption. So that's really the privilege we're working in such a collective and with people really looking at all these different, so that you can really sort of grow with a topic. So you dive in deep for a couple of months, you go out, you sort of present your work, and then you go something kind of different, and then you have the opportunity. So that's a really wonderful experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you've all mentioned a bit the collective model. Can you talk a little bit more about that, or maybe how that's different than how things sometimes go?
I find it a wonderful. I love collectives. I think it's so important to be able to discuss, to have a constant discussion. I mean, our meetings on Monday morning, as Bregtje told, they were really, people could shout against each other. I mean, maybe now it's all you cannot shout against each other anymore, but it was like, it was out of passion and out of drive, and that we wanted to understand what the world is around us and what it will turn into. So, and we could make different teams. So then I would be working with William, then I would be working with Koos, and we just formed teams around what was urgent and possible at that moment around that topic. So in that sense, also working in different teams, and you also share knowledge. So because something I learned on this project, I can share with someone else on the next project. So it really is a shared learning experience.
Nice. Anybody else have anything they want to say about the collective?
Well, maybe it's good to mention, because the spotlight's on us, but when we started making this thing, we thought also of the audience, because there's teachers at high schools showing Backlight episodes. let's help these guys. Let's to find the things that they can do in the classroom. Let's have the meetup organizers use this tool to find themes that they can make evenings with. So because we are public broadcasters, I think it's very important that you present and unlock your material for use by audiences. Yeah, does everyone know what the meetup is? We after every episode of Tegenlicht, we do meetups all over the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, Utrecht, in 50 cities. And we discuss the themes that are in the episode, and we discuss what should we as Dutch people do with this issue. Well, you made future fashion, then 3 days later you're in Pakhuis de Zwijger or the Central Library in Utrecht, and you invite people, experts and guests, to speak about how should we kill fast fashion.
I really think that the collective, what Marije was talking about, is it starts at the Tegenlicht team, that is really a collective, but it extends way beyond that with the meetups, with all the teachers, with the platform. We try to be a collective of everybody who has some kind of passion for future affairs or is interested in the subjects we touch. So I think that's really the collective is way bigger than 24 people that sit in the office in Hilversum.
That's great. I was also distributing the series for an educational distributor in the United States. So for me, it's also sort of
it's
full circle that I
I
actually got to see all these programs on the English versions, which, yes, would be nice to have more. So I think now is time for some questions from students. There's the students. You may have addressed the third question already, but let's go for number 3. Yeah. If you can wait for the microphone, sorry.
Hi, maybe Koos just talked about it for a little bit, but I have a question more for the AI parts you used in the archive. So other than helping you remember the things you don't remember, does AI help discover or uncover the hidden narratives of all the episodes you've made? Like the hidden storylines you didn't realize.
Very short by me.
No, go ahead.
AI, hidden narratives by AI, driven by AI. I think that's a bit of overestimation of AI for the moment, right? Yeah, okay, but I think we are AI aided. We have made AI aided search, and in this AI system, which is very rudimental, it can recognize a cloud, but can it make a narrative, interesting film of clouds? It cannot yet do that. But maybe, as Bregtje was saying, we're in a transition to maybe a future where it does. But for us, it's recognition, but it's still rudimental.
I think maybe it's the AI part is really only half of the archive. I think it really helped, with organizing everything, making everything more accessible, especially with the name entity recognition for all the subtitles that we entered into it. I think did it give us new perspectives? I'm not sure, but I think it connections between things, maybe developments. The subjects that Tegenlicht touched in the beginning were different than they were or are now. So even in a program that's tries to look at the future always, you see that it somewhat follows what's going on in the world, and it's always based on something happening now that Tegenlicht tries to turn around to look at the future. So I think it's shown some patterns that way, and I think AI and also collecting everything and AI helping us making it accessible, that is what has gave us insights.
To give you an example, when 24th of February 2022 happened with the special military operation by the Russians, I typed in Ukraine and I got back to one of our first episodes in 2002, and I clicked a clip, and it started with the question, should Ukraine be part of the EU? So that issue has been there for 22 years already. And so we could go through our episodes to find what did we say about Ukraine, and reuse that.
Maybe one just very practical part, how we use the archive also for production, is that sometimes you use and reuse your own images, because we have copyrights to all of these images, because we went these places with our own cameras, we shot it, and now we can use it as we like. So sometimes, many times actually, we find ourselves in the editing room like, oh, do we have some gloomy office towers downtown Wall Street, New York? And then you can just, through the image recognition, you can find them like the mouse click. So that's also quite practical.
And also it makes that you don't use the same image over and over again, but use another one that you forgot about, or maybe that another maker made.
And it also helps the human AI interface, because a lot of young colleagues in the team came to me and said, do we have any shots of solar panels? Yes, we do have some shots of solar panels. And after the 7th or 8th time that I got the question, I'd like to help my colleagues, but it's easier to type solar panels in here and find them all, because also my mind is fallible, of course. So it's a great tool also for teamwork.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience? Elif, there's a question.
Thank you. It's really beautiful to have a tool like this in order to, just go and discover stuff. And I'm wondering, actually, two things. One is that I guess the episodes, as in their final form, were already being absorbed by the Beeld en Geluid website and so on. So although it was not user-friendly, it was possible to watch them, no? I'm guessing this only because I don't use, actually.
Well, most of the episodes, but, over 20 years, a lot of systems have changed, and there's a new... First, we had nothing, you couldn't watch an episode online. Then we had Uitzending Gemist, but then we got NPO Start, and then we got a new NPO Start, and now we have another NPO Start. And every time...
I think, by the way, that's part of that acceleration.
Right.
Where also we think, oh, it's durable, it's somewhere on a hard disk or on a petabyte somewhere stored. But if you don't touch the hard disk for 5 years, there's nothing on it.
So all episodes were, still kept in the Beeld en Geluid archive, but that's not really publicly accessible, due to all kinds of reasons that you can't go through all episodes of all programs of all time. So I think starting from now 2010, 2011, it was quite all right on NPO Start and our website. But before that, we had seasons with only 1 or 2 episodes online, or it's still not really that, perfect on NPO Start or our website. Or the qualities, because it was filmed in HD and broadcast in HD, but the archival version was kept in some kind of 3 pixels by 4 pixels. So, we took out all the episodes from the Beeld en Geluid archive in the best quality that we could get. And then it was also collaboration with them also to some extent to, make even the episodes back from 2002 accessible in, the best quality that we have now.
Exactly. So forget the... So forget the AI part of it. This is already a huge improvement in recovering the tegenlicht, because I cannot, as a user, really read through this Beeld en Geluid website and so on. I know all the difficulties you're talking about. I think this is so much better. And my other question is, so obviously you already have shots and interviews that you have not used in the final versions. Are you planning to also archive these?
Well, that would be nice, but to give you an idea, I think for one episode of 50 minutes, we sometimes have between 8 and 12 hours of footage, sometimes even maybe more, 20, 25, just depends on how many, how long is the interview, how many hours a day do you shoot. So I think from starting in 2015 or 16, now we are keeping everything we ever shot on some new kind of reliable hard disk that we have in LTO disks that we have in a cupboard at the office. So, well, I think it would be a hell of a job to put everything into the archive. But, before that, everything was just... The disk was taken home by the director or was just reused. And even earlier you had just tapes, so they were just reused or put in some kind of locker and now are not working anymore, I think.
I think this is actually one positive development, that for a while there was no consciousness of taking responsibility for your own future as a public broadcaster, even at VPRO, where a lot of people consider themselves filmmakers rather than TV makers. And the VPRO didn't think it necessary to keep the outtakes and the rough material, the raw material. But then at some point, I think they wanted to clean up and make space, just like, in general, sort of clean up the building. And then they said, okay, all the directors can take their raw footage home, or otherwise it will be destroyed. And then had like a date 5 days later or something. So I have still pictures of everybody like unloading all these boxes, and I have them in mine in a shed in the countrysides. I don't know where yours are, but...
Well, I threw some away, and I'm just desperately looking for a cable to connect the hard drive to my computer, and I can't find the cable anymore, so...
But so I think it's wonderful that at some point the consciousness came, like, oh, maybe in this time where we are going, we have to take responsibility for our archive.
It was just way more difficult, way more time consuming, way more expensive to keep the archive way back then. Hard disks were way more expensive. They were smaller, or there was not really a way to keep a hard disk that works, in 20, 30 years from now. And now there is that kind of equipment that has become a bit more accessible, at least for us as a broadcasting company. So I think that's also something that changed. But there was a program a few years back that uploaded all their raw interviews to a website. What was it called again?
Mind of the Universe.
Mind of the Universe. So, yeah, William really is better than this archive.
No comment.
Thank you so much for this. Talking about this, it's something that I've been really interested in for a long time, about the archiving of the source material, and it's great to hear that there's actually a plan for it, and I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing more about that. Back to the students, if we can go to question number 4, microphone over there. Sorry, we're making you walk a lot.
Hi. My question is also to William and Koos. What are the principal obstacles encountered in the construction of the archive in the future, especially in relation to the integration of AI technologies?
Shall we explain the story about the old guy? Yeah. When we started using YOLO 9000, there are 9,000 categories of objects, nature, persons, animals. But as we said, it's fallible. And in these 9,000, there were also prompts or tags that were, loaded with value or bias or judgment. And when we ran the system, with YOLO 9000, with all the 9,000 categories, there was a shot of an older doctor who had gray hair, a bit bushy hair, and underlying the player, it said which you can do, of course, and not if he sees it, of course, but not if anyone sees it, because it's like a value-added thing. So that's why we put the disclaimer there. It's that it is fallible and it does give judgment and it has bias, and that's why we only put in the things like chair or dog or.
Yeah, for everything related to people, we just put in, made it only see a person. So black, white, any kind of race, woman, man, it all shows as person. So, because, for example, another example is that every bald man was recognized as a bad person for some reason, or most of them. So it's
and Rutger Bregtman.
Rutger Bregtman as well.
That was a very good vision.
So we decided, to keep all those kinds of things out. We really wanted, something that you can objectively recognize as an object or just person. And
if a person was a bit in the dark, it was a bad person or a criminal. So This reminded me of the famous story about the person of color in London who wanted to log in into the Uber device where you had image recognition or facial recognition, and he wasn't recognized. So that kind of bias is what you don't want in systems. So that's why we have to be careful.
Yeah, maybe this is a moment to mention that there was a third aspect, because we had the online archive, really user-friendly and for use and reuse. And then we had the book, which is more like forever, like the best, what do you call it, way to keep something
medium.
is still a book, I think. And then with the QR code to connect. But there was a third aspect. This was a huge art installation by Richard Feige, which was really focused on a critical examination of how image recognition works and what are the biases implicit in image recognition. So it was showing, like, if, for example, house, then you see like American houses, and it didn't recognize Dutch buildings as houses at all, or like all kinds of things. And yeah, so that was kind of the third part or the foot of the system of the celebration and the exploration of AI and future archives.
And you had a story about an elephant?
Yeah. Imagine what happens when you put terrorists into the system. Or I was watching together with a cameraman to an episode that we made in Congo with Renzo Martens. So he might be well known here. And you see Renzo Martens walking through an African village, and under the image it said African elephant. So my cameraman was saying, "Did I miss this elephant? Where is this? Where is it in the image?" So the African village made the system come up with African elephant, but it wasn't there. So that's things that you see the AI doing, and you kind of imagine why it does it, but you cannot base anything on it.
I think what's so special about this project is that it's really a hybrid project of working with the people with the knowledge about the archive as makers, which is, first of all, really special that you bring that knowledge of what you learn while making it and what you know about it. And then, using the AI but not being driven by the AI, which I think is a really nice sort of thing to hold on to, that it's really the vision for the project, for the users, for the educational value of it that comes before, anything else. I think that's a really great sort of focus on design, technology design also, and I know you worked with a lot of different designers. And this kind of comes to the idea of hybrid intelligence, that AI can actually help us in our learning, we're helping it learn, and it can also help us learn. Many questions. Maybe we can go to the students. Question number 6. This goes to the documentary that we'll see.
Good evening. Last but not least, I have a question to Marije. In your documentary, it's highlighted that AI relies on human input for training data. So, and conversely, as mentioned by Joseph Weizenbaum, cautioned against the risk of people adopting machine-like thinking patterns rather than machine becoming more human-like. So, can you maybe elaborate a bit on that topic?
Well, for the documentary that you will see afterwards, we filmed at the Weizenbaum Institute in Berlin. He warns us against the power of AI, and that we have to think like machines, and it makes it think like machines. And for this episode, where the pictures that you see here, they're part, you will see in the episode where they live and how they are created. I wanted to try within this episode to interview people. So I interviewed 4 people who work in the field of AI. And then I wanted to try should create all the other material by using AI tools that were available in just 1 year ago, spring of 2000, 1 year ago. So what you see is a sort of a snapshot of what was possible 1 year ago, technically speaking, to make a prompt, a text to video or text to image. So this is text to image. Later you see video, and so all the locations that I visited, I also wanted to try to create by visual AI tools, and so I wanted to have an image of the exterior of the Weizenbaum Institute in Berlin, a skyline in Berlin, and we filmed there in early March, and it was still this sort of not very bright light, but it was sort of lighter. So within prompting, I entered like it's early spring, exterior Berlin, Weizenbaum Institute, and I got these images, and it's really, you think, oh, it's very easy. It is easy, but it takes a long time to get an image that you're really happy with. I mean, sometimes you have a lucky shot, and sometimes, as a filmmaker, and then sometimes then the first shot was lucky, and then you try to get back to the first one, and you never seem to get back. It's like a whole prompting journey that you go through within these tools. And all the time I got this sort of building that could be the Weizenbaum Institute, and where I saw these trees with these beautiful white blossoms, and more trees with white blossoms. And I got like, I don't know, 100 shots, exterior shots of Berlin with the Weizenbaum Institute. And then and I was editing and working on the project. And then only at the end of the process of editing, I realized that all these images that I got from the Weizenbaum Institute had these trees with white blossoms. Weizenbaum. So the AI could speak German while I was prompting in English. So that really sort of was for me sort of a complete loop with Joseph Weizenbaum warning me, and that I had to think like a machine to be able to work with the machine. And yeah, that was a circle.
It's a great story. And I think we probably need to start the film soon. I wanted to just make one last comment about this image, which we'll see in the film was generated by a generative AI tool, which I think is interesting also because now you said, now this is in your archive. So this idea also of, fake images or generated images getting into the archive, you've created that, and this is now on the EYES website. So
yeah, so that was a very important question about fake images. So what do we do? It was like the major question that I took with me from working on this episode. What do we do with all the images being generated by AI, getting into the system, and how
now feeding the system.
Feeding the system, training it. And I think in the end those databases or archives that are consist only of human-generated images made by humans will be the most valuable databases for the rest of humanity.
Nice. Thank you. So thank you so much to all of you for this wonderful conversation. We need to switch over. I think the cameras need to do something. And then in a couple of minutes, we'll start the film. And there won't be a Q&A afterwards, but we can always speak in the cafe later. So thank you so much. Thank you.